The reason doing this show the way we're doing it, Corey, is because I had this thought looking at a lot of the comments on warchant.com as well as our YouTube page. And if you could just go ahead and crank it up for us here, Corey. We're going to go to our guy, Dalvinism. Maybe we've been on camera the whole time and you folks haven't noticed. Who knows? But shout out to our guys over at CumminsLifestyle. Give them a follow. That's all we're asking. You don't have to buy anything, which you should, though, if you're in the market for your recreational lifestyle to be upgraded. CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. Check out all the awesome things you can do with your recreational time. So, Corey, like a lot of people were upset about the way Mike Norvell talked about practice after Tuesday's practice. And our guy Dalvinism says, wake up, to use a stock market analogy, since that seems to be what's on a lot of people's minds these days.
Why is that? Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know. What's going on?
Sorry. Well, it's ebbing and flowing wildly.
We're not doing like crazy fiscal policy and then pulling back.
The last few days, it's ebbing and flowing. But let's just say my portfolio had a very good day on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's on and off. I got it.
Okay. It went way back up again, so all good.
Is the stock up or down in your confidence of the 2025 FSU football season compared to where it was at the start of spring practice a short 4 weeks ago? And Corey, this is my thing. It's, listen, he said it was an up and down practice on Tuesday. A lot of people, I saw somebody say that, how many times have we heard this before? Sounds like an interview from last year, to which I'm like, what?
No, it doesn't at all.
No, it doesn't.
No chance. Those people are somehow think last year was 2016 because Jimbo would do it every week when he would talk about practice. Mike Norvell never criticized the way his teams practiced ever.
No, which in the hodgepodge that's dropping, like I'm almost encouraged by that, Corey, because listen, after every single practice availability that we had in season last year, he said, thought it was a good work day, literally every single time. And they lost 11 games.
10.
So the fact that we're at this point right now where we can recognize we're not the optimists we were any longer, where we see the best in all of our players and they're going to be great. And I know it's just going to work out. Let's just stay positive. He was mad. He was mad on Tuesday, let his guys know about it. KJ Sampson even kind of said they realized that and stepped up the energy and got better. I mean, all that to say, though, my confidence might be a little bit down, but I'm encouraged at the same time, I'm encouraged that we're recognizing things aren't going maybe the way we want it to, and he's pushing some buttons.
Yes. Number one, they lost 10 games, Aslan. Get that right.
Sorry, you're right.
They didn't lose 11. Unless you're going back to the Orange Bowl.
No, you're right.
Yeah, they lost 10. Come on. I know Cal wants to claim that win, but sorry, Bears, it didn't happen. That's surprising that people said we heard this a lot last year. I don't think those people, no offense, were paying a lot of attention to the post-practice. And why would you once they're 1-4 and 1-6 and 2-9? Like why would you? But those post-practice availabilities, it was never – that's what he sounded like kind of after games.
Yeah.
But not the practices, he was always upbeat, always talked about how hard they worked. I don't know if he was trying to convince himself or the people that employ him and pay him that they're still working hard. I think this is a head coach that realizes he's growing up, man. Like you have to. This is when you go through a rock bottom like he did last year, there's a lot of reflection, self-reflection about the way you do things, the way you talk about your team, the way you talk to your team. And, look, it's not like Norvell was easy on them last year. And I'm sure there were plenty of times in practice where he screamed them down. We didn't ever get to hear, so even when we were watching practice last year, we were always out of the IPF or off the practice field by the time he was addressing the whole team. So we didn't get to hear what he was saying to them back then. But I doubt it was all roses when they're 2-9. I think he was probably pretty adamant with them then, but he would come to us and then, again, not kind of reading the room the way he should, talk about how hard they worked, and nobody wants to hear that. So I think this is him. I don't know if it's for PR purposes or I'm sure it's really how he feels, but I think the PR purposes might come into, I can't just keep saying we work hard every day when we don't. That didn't do me any good last year, and nobody believes it or cares anyway. So I'm going to say what really happened, and they were up and down, and I was upset by them. Let your constituency know that when they don't have a good practice, you will call them on it. It's not Pollyanna, everybody practice hard. I like what I see. Like, make sure that the people that pay your salary and that pay for the exorbitant ticket prices to come to these games realize you're not satisfied at all with what happened last year. And the standard has to be raised because the standard of practice, the standard of talking about practice has to be raised because last year you took the standard and threw it into magma. You dug it into the earth. Like, the standard's gone. So you have to change the way you talk about practice. They've changed the way they practice. All of this, I think, is a reflection of 2-10, but it's also a sign of a coach that's probably adapting and, growing in the job a little bit, maybe.
Well, to the broader point of the question from Dalvinism, and I think that's really great insight, Corey. So where are we right now? I mean, we're more than halfway through this thing by the time some of you might listen to this, they might be in the midst of practice 11. They'll be doing practices 11 and 12 Thursday and Friday. So again, well past midway point, you got to see a scrimmage. So you probably have a little bit better thought on it, but I don't know. As cynical and as skeptical as I am about a lot of things, I'm like, man, they're bringing in a bunch of proven guys on the field in terms of players, coaches on the sidelines. I could see this if everything, if they pull that lever in Vegas and it comes up like, straight cherries, or I don't know, was like oranges, sevens, bar. Like, what do you want it to say on the? I'm not a slots guy, Corey.
I don't know. Trust me, man. Trying to play slots these days, who knows? Sometimes it's a dancing genie. Sometimes it's a tiger whipping his tail around. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to see on these stupid things. Let's go with cherries, like three cherries.
Yeah, so like triple cherries pop up on your slot machine. You're like, oh man, jackpot! Like, I mean, I think I thought there was a world, not likely but possible, that if everything clicks, like this could be a really good team and they could maybe compete for winning this conference and getting into a 12-team playoff. But, with all, I guess the injuries really kind of takes a lot of the wind out of your sails. And I do realize it's spring and they're all going to be healthy by the time camp rolls around, but just you're installing everything. You're not out there with your guys competing, really being immersed totally in the culture. So I would say that maybe I'm maybe just a smidge, a little more down on what the season can be right now as we sit here compared to where I was 4 weeks ago. Where are you at?
Man, I hate to be this guy, but I'm the exact same. Nothing's changed. I think personally it's probably an 8-win roster that can get lucky. Some good luck could get to 10. Some bad luck could get to 6. But I think it's right around an 8-win roster. It's hard to use the scrimmage as any gauge. Because so many of the wide receivers were out, and I don't think their starting running back is on the team right now. And the offensive linemen, the tackles weren't playing. I think that nothing has happened that would make me think less of it. Like, I know what Tommy Castellanos is. I think he can be better than he's ever been in this offense. But I know what he is. He's not a NFL quarterback necessarily, but he might be. I think he's honorable mention all ACC caliber, second team if he has a good year. Like, he's that's kind of where his ceiling is, and that's an 8 or 9 win quarterback if he can do that. So, yeah, I will say this. I do getting to talk to Tony White every Saturday, it always instills a degree more confidence in me than I had the week prior. I completely believe in that guy. I could be 100% wrong. He might have a Kent State defense. He might have the worst defense in the country this year. But I believe in that guy, sight unseen, really, because we've seen one scrimmage. But in Florida State, I'm talking about. But I believe in that guy, and the way he talks about this defense and these players instills with me a little confidence that this talent level on that side of the ball isn't quite as down as we think it is because of how bad the team was last year. So there, I qualified everything and didn't answer the question. So you're welcome, Dalvinism.
But the defense, as we wrap up this part of the show, the defense is what drew the ire of Mike on Tuesday. That doesn't, and I'm not trying to use one day as like
it's one practice
of who Tony White is.
Yeah, no, it's one practice. So no, it doesn't. That doesn't bother me at all. There are going to be ups and downs. The 2013 defense didn't dominate every day. They had bad days. I'm sure Jimbo screamed at them, told them they were worthless a few times too. They turned out to be all right. I don't think one practice in April sours me on what I think this defense could be. Again, not great, but I think they're going to create more turnovers. How could they not? And I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to play harder. I think they're going to be more enjoyable to watch, and all that is a positive. So, but I don't think this team is a national championship team.
All right. Boo.
Well, you know what it is, honestly, Aslan, is like you look at the roster. I think it has been upgraded. I just still see a lot of I still worry about the depth. I think the frontline stuff is fine. I still worry about the underclassmen and the young depth. And I don't know. I don't think that's a championship roster from that perspective because so many of their backups are so young and so unproven. And through the course of a football season, they're going to have to prove themselves. And I still think there's a percentage of players on this football team that don't belong here. Maybe not as many as last year, but I think there's, 10, 15% of this roster 10 maybe, that's probably 15, 20, that's too much. But I would say and this is probably true of every Division I school in the country, by the way, but if there's 80 scholarship players on this roster, I would say 15 probably don't belong in a Florida State uniform, or I haven't seen it yet to say they're going to be difference makers. They're ever going to contribute here. Could be more than that. It probably is more than that, just mathematically. But so that still worries me some. And when 2023, so they didn't have a lot of great depth behind them either, but all their starters stayed relatively healthy.
So are we like nouveau rich NVIDIA Tesla stock that's fallen on hard times and will bounce back? Or are we blue-blooded Microsoft, been rolling since the 90s, ebbs and flows, and just never sell, always hold on to it?
Like Berkshire Hathaway, right?
Class A stock, obviously.
Yeah. I would. I think Florida State's like that. Like it's going to dip, but I think a decade over decade, you're going to end up making money on the Noles. So I think that I definitely, again, my stock, my thought about Florida State has not been diminished in any way. I didn't have high expectations anyway, but what I did have, they have not been, like I said, diminished in any way.
Shout out to Dalvinism. In case you don't know, again, you are the weekly winner, doing things a little bit different this week. But what's not different is the quality, the value, the power leader that is Cummins. Give them a follow on Instagram, CumminsLifestyle, all one word.